Okay, welcome family. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to talk to the family about how I got started in the real estate business and becoming an entrepreneur and buying, flipping homes and doing rental property. So basically how it all got started. I came home from college on spring break and my mother informed me that she was losing the house. I was like, wow, losing the house, my childhood home. And she asked me if I could help her in getting the house refinanced or whatever I could do to help her get out of foreclosure. At that time, she had what was 18% interest, which in today's time I consider that loan shark numbers. So she was unaware that they was treating her unfairly. So I said, Mom, why don't you just deed the house over to me? I have good credit. Let me go to the bank and see if I can get the home refinanced or do something different with the home. So at that time, I decided I was going to apply for a job with the city of Charlotte, and the city of Charlotte hired me. At that particular time, only job I could get with the city of Charlotte because I needed something immediately was on the trash truck. And at that time in Charlotte, you actually had to walk behind the houses and actually physically get the trash. It's not like today. So I did a hard labor job with walking behind the house picking up trash. So needless to say, with all that going on, I decided to go to the bank and apply to get a refinance to get my mom out of foreclosure because like I say, her interest rate was 18%. So the bank informed me, okay, we can do that. You have excellent credit. You have a full-time job working with the city of Charlotte. Let's see what we can do for you. So at that time, the lady informed me that I had equity in the house. Now, I'm 21 years old. I don't know what equity is or anything of that nature. So now that piqued my, what can I do with this? So she said, well, you have about $30,000 in equity. Would you like to get a home equity line of credit? I'm like, well, what the hell is a home equity line of credit? So the lady began to inform me and tell me about the home equity line of credit and how the home equity line worked. I refinanced my mom rate. Again, she had gave me the house. So I refinanced it in my name and I got it rated like 6%. So I was able to save my mom from losing the home. I took over possession. I got the HELOC set up. HELOC means for home equity line of credit. And I continued to work at the city and I picked up a part-time job because I was trying to help my mom with some other debt she had to get her all taken care of. In the meanwhile, I was still trying to figure out what will I do with this money. So I had a part-time job working at night at a trucking company unloading trucks. So I'm sitting there at the part-time job unloading trucks and one of the guys named Doug said, hey man, you wanna go to real estate school? I was like, man, I just came home from college. I don't know if I really want to go back to school right now. I'm trying to get my mom get out of trouble. I said, well, how long is the class? He said, it's about 45 days. Now, mind you, this is in 1993. So, okay, I see how I go. So me and Doug both went to real estate school. I ended up getting my real estate license. And just looking around again, I still had that $30,000 home equity line. I did not know what to do with it. Just started doing some research. And it got me to thinking, as a child, my dad owned a construction company. Just a little quick story here. My dad owned a construction company, and I used to work with my dad every summer on a construction company. He was a brick mason, hauling the bricks, mixing the mortar up, different things of that nature. So some of the guys, there's a lot of guys out here work paycheck to paycheck. So they always needed to borrow money. So this is how my entrepreneur spirit started as a kid, 12, 13 years old. I was loaning the guys money, and I know you're gonna laugh. I was loaning money and I was charging 50 cents on a dollar. Now mind you, my dad is the boss, so I'm always guaranteed to get paid. So what I would have the guys do, I had a little notepad. I would write my little notes down, make them sign, hey, I borrowed $10, I agree to pay $15 back, sign and date. So when payday came on Friday, I would tell my dad, hey, here's all the guys that borrowed money from me throughout the week. This is the amount of money they owed me. Here's their signature and everything like that. My dad would confirm with the guys they borrowed money from me, and my dad would pay me, make them pay me as soon as they got paid to make sure I got the money. Now I'm 12, 13, 14 years old. So that's how I knew I was an entrepreneur early on in life, and I knew I wanted to work for myself. So moving back forward to going to real estate school, me and Doug, we both go to real estate school, we get our license and everything. And I started watching an infomercial back then. It was a very popular guy named Carlton Sheets that if you guys been in real estate since the 90s, everybody knew who Carlton Sheets was. He was the guru of the 90s. Read his book, started looking at his videos, and decided I was gonna take the money and buy a property. Where at that time I didn't have but $30,000, which wasn't a lot of money in a home equity line. But I was able to find a property for $29,500. I ended up putting the contract in on it, purchased the home for the $29,500. Of course, I got my 3% commission, so I made money on the property at the same time. Now I'm sitting there saying, okay, well, all my cash is gone. How do I fix the house up? So I was talking to my mom, and she was telling about the guys who used to work on her house when she needed repairs done. So I called the older guys up. They all came out, gave me prices on putting a roof on the house, remodeling the house, putting it all together. Okay, I said, all right, I can do that. It's no problem. So I ended up borrowing the money on my credit card. So I ended up borrowing 20 to 25,000 on my credit card. So now I got 29,500 plus 20 to 25 on my credit card. So now I'm into the house about $55,000. Had the house remodeled. Ended up putting the house on the market. Ended up selling the house for $90,000. I made about $40,000 after all the fees and the commissions. Now remind you, by me being a realtor, I don't have to pay one side of the realtor. So I saved the 3% that I would have paid another realtor if they had put the house on the market for me. So until I took that money and I did it again, then I found another property. I bought that house. Same thing, fixed it up. Now I have my own money because I made a profit off the first house. I didn't need the cash from my credit cards to fix up the second house. Okay, I ended up purchasing the second house for roughly $35,000. I put about $15,000 in that one, $50,000. Again, I sold this one right around $95,000. Now I've made enough money that I went and paid my mother's house off. Now her house is paid in full, and I deeded the house back over to her. Now she has her house paid off with no debt. Now I still have some cash left over. So I had things progressed on. I'm going to different auctions, meeting different people, and I ended up meeting a guy named Jay Parker, who ended up being my mentor. Jay was about 10 years older than me, and I did 2 deals, but I really wasn't comfortable doing it. But I had a good idea of what I needed to do and how to do this. So by meeting Jay, now I am 23 years old. Jay is about 33, 34. He had been doing this a while. So Jay kind of took me and mentored me and took me on his wing. And he introduced me into the rental property so I could have residual income, and showed me how the Section 8 program worked, how to get better contractors, how to get work done cheaper, how everything worked in the rental market. So me and Jay, we're still friends to the day, 30 some years later. And we laugh and joke about how we all got started and how we got in the real estate business. So I say all this to say that I didn't just start doing this. So when you see the videos that I'm posting and things I'm doing online, I didn't just start the other day doing this. I've been doing this business since 1993. So after I got going with Jay, I started acquiring properties at the courthouse, started acquiring properties on the auction sites, just different ways. I always tell people one of the most creative ways I purchased homes were through the obituary. I know what you're thinking, through the obituary. How cruel. But if you think about this, when people, parents, uncles or aunts pass away, they typically live in a different state. They don't want to be bothered with the property. All they want is the cash, and they want to cash the house out and go about their business. So that's one of the techniques that I started using. Was I would look in the obituaries, see who had passed away. I would send them a letter and see if they was interested in selling their home. 9 times out of 10, they would be, because their kids lived in a different state. They didn't want to come back. So we started paying houses for cash, offering them cash to purchase the homes. So that's basically how we got started. Then I started buying a home, getting another home, paying for it, taking all my rent, putting it back into the properties to make sure that I could afford to keep the homes going. Now, meanwhile, at the same time, I'm still working a full-time job. I'm still working part-time at the trucking company. I did not quit yet because I needed my rental income and my real estate business to replace the income that I was making from the city and making from the trucking company. I always tell everybody, overnight success is about 15 years. No one got started the other day, and now you see them with all this nice stuff. It takes time. So meanwhile, I worked for the city almost 10 years. I ended up quitting my job in 1990. So I walked away from there. At that time, my real estate and my investments, my rental property was enough to sustain my lifestyle. And I haven't looked back. So I'm pretty much celebrating almost 20 years of being self-employed. So this is basically just a snapshot of how I got started. what all I've done. And this is just in the real estate business and the entrepreneur. And of course, I got in the trucking business and some other business ventures that I do as well to make money. But like I said, I've been doing real estate now approximately 26 years and love it. So guys, I just want to give you a brief introductory of how I got started, how I made some money, how easy this has been for me. If you like, please like my channel. Please subscribe, and I'll bring you more content in the future. I bring videos about the trucking business, how I got started in the trucking business, how HELOCs work, how you can leverage a HELOC to purchase and new properties, purchase properties at the tax sales, at the courthouse. We purchase properties all types of different ways. Again, thank you for watching. I appreciate your time.